Hello. Hello, can you guys hear me? Is the awful sound there or is it gone? Give me updates, children. Hey guys, look at you. Alright, who is hello there? We got Raylan here, we got Dylan here. Ethan, hoping you're gonna stay for longer than just to say that you're here. We got 13 minutes until this thing starts. Dylan, you're gonna get points for your team. Alright, we still have 12 minutes before this starts, Ethan. Hey Mia, good. All the sound is good. Guys, I think we figured this out. Hey Jacob, welcome, welcome. Dylan, your comments in class today about Mario's parentage made my Facebook page, so. Raylan, you're watching Grays? We must talk about this. Jacob's already here. Hey Tristan. Yes, work on that American. That's a good idea, guys. If you want to have out your event packet and if you have any questions, you can ask me. We still have about 11 minutes before we're getting started. That's enough to do probably 2 or 3. Dylan, you're an odd turkey, dude. Bye. Dylan, stop. Hey Hannah. Right now, guys, don't forget you have homework this week. I'm going to write it down so you can visibly see it too. Homework is event packet, pages 4 through 16, and then also due on Tuesday. Due Tuesday. Due Tuesday is. That was also really fun. Hi, Hannah's mom, sister, and grandma. Hello there. Who are you? And I'll tell you if you have homework. The blue book is due on Tuesday. That's page 25 to the end. Oh, I haven't decided. It's not Reggie. Yes, Harper's Ferry. That was really funny, Ethan. That was. I don't remember the last time I laughed that hard, and I think it was partially because of just like the aggressiveness of how hard you guys were all laughing that like I couldn't help but laugh. Hello there. I don't know who you are. The packet, I haven't decided when the packet is due. Well, I mean, I know when it's due. Pages 4 through 16 is due Friday. Sorry, Mia, that's what you were asking. Yeah. Sorry, Hannah. Oh, things are happening. I'm listening to a new audiobook and it's pretty good, so that's fun. Bless the children, bless the children. Oh. Still have 8 minutes. All of the things indeed. Jacob, your reaction made it really funny too. Thank you for being a friend, Dylan. It was really funny, Hannah. Good old class time. Good old 8th period. And Hannah, thank you again for putting up all the new scores. The new scores have been posted. Tomorrow we have the silent debate. You guys will be getting coins for that. And Mia's here like, what? Yeah, Mia, it was it was an 8th period thing that happened that was really funny. But when you tell the story, it does not seem funny. It is a location thing. Like, you did have to be there. But, like, also, if I were to explain it to you, as in, Jacob came up and said, hey, what was John Brown's rate again? And then Ethan said, that was Harper's Ferry, right? And then they all, like, bust out laughing, and Jacob was, like, really upset because apparently Jacob had been saying, John Brown's right. That's Harper's Ferry, right? That's Harper's Ferry, right? And they were all like, I don't know. And so then when Ethan saw the answer, he was very upset. I know, Mia. You're like, wow, I'm crying. I'm laughing so hard. But, like, also. Oh, Dylan. Oh, Dylan discussing the parentage of Mario today. The paternity of him was very interesting. Man, the kid from New York is not here. He was here in the last live stream. That was fun. We still have 6 minutes left. Any songs you guys want to hear tonight specifically? Any songs I should try to work in? I don't know very many Teen Beach Movie songs, but I can work on it. I know more High School Musical if we can stick to that. But really, Moana's the fun one right now. Mia, it would have stressed you out, I feel like, because it stresses me out, but at the same time, I don't know, it's madness. It's madness. Mia, you're in a fun class. Teen Beach Movie, yeah, I know. But I don't really know all the songs for that, so that's my struggle. I know Cruisin' for a Bruisin'. XYZ Affair is the best. Oh. The French keep attacking American ships. What shall I do? I will send smart diplomats to negotiate with French Foreign Minister Charles Maurice de Talleyrand Perigord. Oh man, you missed everything, Raylan. Clearly, this fucker started singing about the XYZ affair again because that's my favorite thing. Eh. Thank you, Mia. Thank you. It's my classic thing. Schoolhouse Rock is like, I feel like I only know what I've heard other people say, like, but I like know, like, I'm just a bill sitting on Capitol Hill, and like, I'm just like, come on, France. Okay. I don't know what that means. We got 3 minutes till the live stream officially starts, folks. 3 minutes. Hey, Olivia. Junction, what's your function? Oh, bless. Oh, hello, my children. Oh my gosh, okay. I think you spelled Joseph Stalin's name wrong, by the way. I want to say it was with an F, but like that's just what I remember. I only know stop, collaborate, and listen. Bless. Hey, Reggie. The quotes, my dude. Oh, I thought we were past my dude comments. I don't want to sing Ice Ice Baby, Reggie. I don't know it well enough, so it won't be a thing. Is it spelled right? Or is that the American spelling? Well, I guess it is with a PH. Sorry, guys. Yeah, no, I have Google too. He was General Secretary of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union, by the way. All right, folks. So now we're starting our review. Okay, so today our STAAR review starts here. All right, so we have STAAR review. Kara, you're here, eating tacos, doing your history. Nice. Okay, so we are STAAR reviewing. Guys, text your friends, tell your friends. Make all this fun happen. All right, so STAAR review. Today we're going to be talking about the American Revolution. To give you guys kind of a heads up about today, we're doing the French and Indian War. We are going to be talking a little bit about mercantilism and how it played an impact in causes of the American Revolution. We're going to be talking about causes, including British economic policies following the French and Indian War. Is Jack Parker here? Yeah. Um, dun, 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 dun. Okay, causes of the war. Oh my gosh. Okay, French Indian War, mercantilism, causes. So we're gonna get into battles and events. Including the DOI and the Continental Congresses. And then we're also going to be discussing people. Now, y'all, the state of Texas wants you to know a lot of people. Oh, I didn't know that Jack Parker is here because I don't see Jack Parker. So weird. Okay, can somebody tell me who was the French and Indian War between and why did it happen? Who was the French and Indian War between and why did it happen? Not France and Indians. That was not the thing. It was between France and England. Okay. So. And before we really kind of get into French and Indian War, sorry, I'm going to go back to this paper. U.S. and England, it's not between U.S. and England. Hey, Gianna. We're not going to, it's not really between the U.S. and England. It's U.S. and England against the French and the Native Americans. Now, something I do want you guys to take note of is prior to all of this, for close to, we're going to call this prologue. Now, what is a prologue? Why would I use the word prologue here? What is a prologue in a story? In a story, when you read a story, what is the prologue? What happened before? Is it just telling you what happened before just so you have more backstory, or is it because it influences the story? It's okay. I'm seeing a lot of it's the beginning, it's what happened before. Also, the prologue is usually a specific snapshot in time. And it's not going to show you the point is that it's not going to show you the whole story, but it's going to give you enough that you understand where everybody's coming from. So right now I'm going to give you a little prologue to this. From the year 1607, guys, and what colony was 1607? To the 1750s. What colony was founded in 1607? Waiting for you guys. Okay, Virginia, specifically Jamestown. Good. So we have Jamestown, 1607. From the year 1607 till the 1750s. Tell me about how did the king and not just King George, but any king, how did England treat the colonies? (1620) was Plymouth. Okay, he neglected them. Now, did this, what did this neglect do for the colonies? I'm seeing this, ignore them because it was inefficient communication. I like that. Okay. Mercantilism. It made the colonists supply them with goods, but the colonists couldn't make their own goods, couldn't trade with anybody else, so that's unfortunate. Okay, I like what Ethan said here. It forced the colonists to indulge in self-government. And they formed their own blank institutions. They did collect taxes. The taxes weren't too bad, though. The taxes weren't a problem yet. It made us start our own governments, but what type of governments? There's a phrase that I'm looking for that I haven't seen yet. It kind of is in the same family of government, self-government. Specifically, I usually refer to it as the growth of this specific type of government. Able to increase the messages before take a break. Reggie, I don't know what your thing is. Representative. Okay, very good. I'm seeing it a lot. Representative government. Specifically, representative government. So here the colonists, existing under mercantilism, existing under all of this, have really grown with self-government. They've had this growth of representative government through the House of Burgesses. I'm liking that I'm seeing you guys say House of Burgesses. House of Burgesses, what colony did the House of Burgesses apply to? Hello. The Mayflower Compact. Mayflower Compact applied to Plymouth, but where did the House of Burgesses apply to? Because originally, the Plymouth, the Plymouth settlers wanted to settle in Jamestown. Himina, welcome, welcome. Yes, it was the original. The House of Burgesses was the original government of Jamestown in Virginia. Then we have the Mayflower Compact is established. Then we have the Fundamental Orders of Connecticut. Through this time period, too, there was two other big things that happened. We have the blank in the blank. We have two other movements that happened. One is intellectual. Intellectual, and I'm not very intellectual for not knowing how that was spelled, so that's my struggle. Intellectual-ish. Intellectual, and the other one was spiritual. What were these movements referred to as? What kind of movements am I talking about here? All right, now I see it not the Second Great Awakening. This is the First Great Awakening. We have the First Great Awakening and the Enlightenment era. Which is which? Tell me which one's intellectual, which one's spiritual. Alex, welcome. Welcome for being here. You earn coins by being here and participating in the conversation. Okay, the First Great Awakening is spiritual. Enlightenment was intellectual. Who was the Enlightenment thinker we always talk about? All right, thank you very much. Stephen, you're back. We were wondering if you were going to be here. It was John Locke. John Locke had these ideas about enlightenment. John Locke had the ideas about enlightenment, specifically, um, John Locke had these ideas about government. Specifically, he introduces the idea of having natural rights. I saw somebody else wrote down, or Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson is going to build off of John Locke's ideas about enlightenment. Okay. The First Great Awakening. How does the First Great Awakening contribute to people's ideas about? How does that contribute to ideas? Ideas that might sparse revolution. Unalienable rights. Yes. Julia M. Who are you, my friend? First Great Awakening is not necessarily going to lead to the idea about unalienable rights. Unalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness are all John Locke-ish. Not just we should be free. It's not just about. It's not freedom of religion, but it was about the First Great Awakening was about. I think it's Camilla too. I need the church to be strong. Yes, and yes. I would also say the First Great Awakening says I am important to my God. Therefore, I should also be important to my the idea was if I'm important to my God, I should also be important to my government. The First Great Awakening was about the fact that, God wants to hear what you have to say, building a personal relationship with God. And the idea was if God cares what I have to say, my government should also care what I have to say. That said, that's kind of our prologue as we enter this new era. That's kind of my prologue as we enter this new era. Because for so many years, we're kind of neglecting the colonies. We're neglecting the colonies, and they're building these big ideas about who they are. And we've left them with this confidence that they can run things by themselves. Oh, sorry. Guys, tell me when I need to move the paper. Hooray, you're here. We're so excited you're here. So now we're going to move into what the real causes of the war are. Are you able to move the paper down? I just moved it up because I thought you guys couldn't see. Is that better? Dylan, I need your nonsensical words to stop, and I need you to quit being silly. Good use of spelling the word legit there, Dylan. Okay, well, good, Dylan. I'm glad you're not being silly for real. Okay, so as we look here, okay. Okay, now I'm in a grumpy mood. Will life happen, sir? Okay, so are we ready to move on? Who is Jaden Black? Oh, hello. Jack Spanko again. Okay, so we're going to move on to the French and Indian War. Now, for so many years, the colonies were left alone, left to their own accord. Everything's fine. Well, then we start this war. Really, it's because of colonists. Basically, this is, again, you guys, don't be, jealous of my mad artistry. Does it look kind of like a weird dinosaur with like a humpback. Yeah. Jaden, we do not say terms like that in here. There you go, Dylan. That's exactly when you put it all together like that. That's awesome. Okay. Now, the French and Indian War. The French and Indian War. Here's, I was saying what people wanted justice. I was saying that they live. There you go. Very good, Dylan. Okay. Oh, the packet is talking about Bacon's rebellion. Very good. So basically, what happens is we have the colonists, and the colonists, and guys, what mountains are these right here? There's a set of mountains right here. Okay, that's what happens after the war, but we're talking about why it happened. Causes of the war, not the effects or the impact. Okay, they're going to fight for land. Land specifically where? What mountains are these? The Appalachian. Very good. The Appalachian Mountains. Now, the Appalachian Mountains. Oh, did I spell that right, you guys? Double check me. It is late, and I'm not sure if I spelled that right. Basically, the colonists are fighting to cross the Appalachians. They want to encroach on land right here. There's a specifically really valuable plot of land in this general area. What is this general area referred to as? Ah, see, it has the H in it. I thought it did, and when I wrote it, I didn't put the H in it, and then I felt silly. Hopefully we're not judging me too hard. What is this land called right here? It has to do with the river. Because there are two rivers. There's one river that goes like this, and there's another river that goes like this. What is this area called? It is only 7:20, but I'm so tired. Okay, this area right here is called the Ohio River Valley. Very good. I think that was Reggie who said that one. The Ohio River Valley. The Ohio River Valley is going to be very fertile land. It's not just really fertile land, but what are the French involved in? Or as Stephen said, land. What are the French involved in that the colonists also want to be involved in? Hey, Aiden. Very good. The fur trade. Oh, I love that we say that. In class guidance, I referred to the French when I was trying to get you guys to remember it, and I'm so happy to see it again. I said, think French. They are friendly to the Native Americans. They're going to marry into the tribes. But they also embark on the fur trade. French friendly furs. Whoop. Whoop. French friendly furs. Oh. Okay. So, French equal XYZ affair. They are involved in that too, Dylan. Now, this war here, it starts during the war. Like I said, we have the U.S., which is not the U.S., I should say. We have the 13 colonies and Britain against two. Guys, I'm real glad what we've Reggie, you're going to look. You're skipping ahead. Versus France and two. Good question, Stephen. Some people call it the 7 Years' War. It's not because it exactly lasted 7 years, but that's just one of the things they call it. Okay, Reggie, you were the one who forgot that, and we're like leaping ahead to the end of the war. So, I need you to calm down. And when I say Indians, I mean Native Americans. I'm saying that because we refer to it as the French and Indian War in our teats, but another term for it is the 7 Years' War. Now, during this time period, there's a political cartoon that goes around. It sounds like this. It's like. It's like, I don't know. It says join or die. Now, who made this and what is it called? Join or get pied. There you go. This is referred to, as Reggie said, as the Albany Plan of Union because it was presented in Albany, but who presented it? Whose idea was this? And what was it about? It was Benjamin Franklin's idea. Okay, we have Benjamin Franklin, and the idea here is Benjamin Franklin, and what was his idea? We must join together or lose. The colonies must unite. The colonies must unite or kind of face the consequences. Now, why do we call Native Americans Indians? Native Americans, we call them Native Americans because they're native to the Americas, but originally when Columbus comes over, he thinks he's landed in India, so everyone thought they were Indians. Oh, look, Reggie, look at you. Ben Franklin wrote the book on farts. I'm a snake, I'm gonna bite you. Clearly that's a terrifying snake. And remember, guys, these all each represented different colonies. Like New England. They all represented the different colonies. All the things were happening. Oh, Columbus. Okay. So that said, he says colonists must unite. The colonists are like, no one wants to get their powers. Very good. This cartoon was used to symbolize that the colonies need to join together with Great Britain to defeat the French and the Indians. It was a symbol of colonial freedom during the American Revolutionary War. Oh, I love it. Camilla, I think that's you, but as Julie M. I love it. That's awesome. The colonies must unite together. It was kind of like a rally cry. The colonies were like, yeah, we're great. We need to join together. Well, eventually, the war comes to a close because as the colonists get into it with England or get into it with France, England decides to step in because they can't have France pushing around their colonies. So Britain comes in and the U.S. I can't right now. Britain and her colonies win. Now, the first thing that happens is we sign the Treaty of Paris. What year? The war ends with the signing of the Treaty of Paris of what year? Join us, silent to this. It's one of those so shiny. Can't you see that we have no hope if we split up? But together we cannot be shiny. Not 1863, champ. Nope, that's during the Civil War, Dylan. Hamina, what you got? Ooh, 1780. It's not 1783. That's the end. That's the treaty that ends the American Revolution. Very good, Hannah. 1763. This is the one that ends the F&I War. This is what ends this the French and Indian War. Now that's clearly Jimenez. Don't worry, everybody else is forgetting. I am sure. Now the thing that happens next is because of this war, and because during this treaty we see that France loses power in North America, and actually the only power that they have is in Haiti. We give them this like little plot of land just to kind of like mess with them. It's kind of funny. We have the Treaty of Paris 1763, but after the war we're gonna hit some pretty big problems. The first problem is that the colonists want to move westward. The Ohio River Valley. They want land in the Ohio River Valley. Now, this said, they want the land in the Ohio River Valley, but the king won't give it to them. The king, as they want to move west, they want to move westward, and the king says, no, you're not allowed. You're not allowed to move west. And that is called the Proclamation of 1763. That is called the Proclamation of 1763. Now, because they can't pass, they're going to resent that. They're going to resent the limits he's placed on westward expansion. The next thing that's going to happen is that because this war is so expensive. Okay, 1763 is both things, Dylan. The war was expensive. And so the king does something that makes a lot of people mad. He raises taxes. He raises taxes on the colonies. He raises taxes on the colonies to pay for the war. Now, here, I'm not sure about the Pontiac Rebellion. And see, is it stupid though, Hannah? Because the war is expensive, and he fought this because the colonists, we said the colonists were moving into this land, and he says, okay, I'm going to, and he says, okay, well, I'm going to just raise your taxes so we can pay for this war. Like you said, Reggie, the colonists should pay for the protection that we give them. That's true. That's how a lot of people felt. However, their problem wasn't necessarily just that they had to pay taxes. But we also have the passage of the Navigation Acts. We have mercantilism. They can't trade with other countries. But one of the other big things is that they are being taxed, and do they have a say in any of these? Hannah, they're not super poor though, because they've kind of learned how to. We have a lot of rich people, especially in Boston. Boston is one of the richest cities in the colonies. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of things are happening. Very good. Okay, the problem was they are being taxed without voting representation in Parliament. They don't have anyone. They don't have anyone representing them in Parliament. So when these taxes are passed, no taxation without representation. No taxation without representation. That's the problem. They are taxed without representation, and they feel that this is woefully unfair because as former British citizens, because of the Magna Carta, which I heard us talk about earlier, Himina, don't worry about the Pontiac Rebellion. Because of all these things, the colonists, because of the Magna Carta, because of the English Bill of Rights, the colonists have believed that they should have a say in their government, and when they're taxed And when taxes are raised without representation, now they have a way, now they have a reason to be frustrated. They have a reason to, they feel like kind of step in here. This is going to be kind of one of their rally cries. One of the first acts that is passed is quite simply, it's a tax on sugar. Nia, why are you stressing out? Why are we stressing out? Oh, we're stressing this puppy out. Oh, there's just a lot happening, and I printed something else. There we go. Oh, bless my children. Okay. So the next thing that we're going to look at is causes of the American Revolution. Causes of the American Revolution. Now, I disappeared and then I came back. Causes of the American Revolution, it starts in the year 1763. It starts with the end of the French and Indian War and the proclamation. That's a mountain, and they cannot cross the Appalachian Mountains. Okay, Reggie and Stalin, I'm going to need you guys to calm it down on the topics. Oh my gosh. All right, folks. Moving on. So one of the things we're going to do in order to one of the things the king is going to do is he's going to put taxes. One of the first taxes he enacts is the Sugar Act. Basically, it's a tax on tea. Okay, Dylan, I said we needed to stop. We're not having political talk in here. That's life. That's true. Okay, so the Sugar Act was a tax on sugar, specifically molasses. The Sugar Act is going to lead to people are going to start chanting in the streets, no taxation without representation. No taxation without representation. Okay, and we have even more, and we have the Stamp Act. What was the Stamp Act a tax on? Thank you, Stephen, for bringing that up. We have the Stamp Act. What was the Stamp Act a tax on? What do stamps go on? We're not there yet, Dylan. Guys, what do stamps go on? You put stamps on paper, so it's a tax on paper goods. Ooh, good, very good. It's a tax on paper goods. Now, the Stamp Act is going to lead us to the Stamp Act is going to lead us to the Stamp Act Congress. Now, guys, the Stamp Act Congress isn't so much important that you know what this the Stamp Act is per se. Very good, Camilla. Very good answer. The Stamp Act Congress, it's not exactly important that you know what the Stamp Act Congress is, but what it leads to is the creation of two important groups. What two important groups is this? It creates two important groups. What two important groups are created in this scenario? All right, the Sons of Liberty and the Daughters of Liberty are created. The Sons and Daughters of Liberty. Now we're going to take a pause here. Hannah, I hope you like this part because right now we're going to talk about who were the kind of important people in this section. Who was the leader of the Sons of Liberty and who were some of the Daughters of Liberty? Okay, I'm hearing people know this. Jack, freedom of expression does not. I can limit your freedom of expression in this chat because I'm trying to get kids through information. One of them was Adams. Actually, there's multiple Adams. There's going to be an Adams in the Daughters of Liberty and an Adams who is the leader of the Sons of Liberty. Abigail Adams is in the Daughters of Liberty, and who is the leader of the Sons of Liberty? It is her like cousin-in-law, not her husband, her cousin. Not John, the other one. Not John, but who else? We're looking for another one here. Samuel Adams. All right, Samuel Adams. Okay, so you have Samuel Adams and Abigail Adams. There's also one more person. Guys, Samuel Adams was a little crazy. He was a little crazy. Now, Abigail Adams, she's going to tell her husband, you know, remember the ladies. She's going to be instrumental. She's going to converse with the brightest minds of the day. She will have a running dialogue with them in letters. Now, Abigail Adams was one member of the Daughters of Liberty, but there was also another member of the Daughters of Liberty who we've discussed. And this person, she actually would, she grew up in a house full of brothers, and she was a writer. She was a writer. She was a playwright. Because she was a writer and a playwright, because all of those things were true, she would actually use a man's name in her writing so that people would take her writing seriously. And her name was, thank you, Dylan, Mercy Otis Warren. And I told you guys to remember, mercy me. She's very dramatic. Okay. Okay, so next thing, as we're moving on. Guys, I have a list of things right here that these are the things that the state wants you to know. So far, I want you to know that we have covered Proclamation of 1763, the Stamp Act, mercantilism, and British economic policies following the French and Indian War. Ooh, ooh. So we're getting there, guys. We're doing well. Isn't that also the dog of Isn't Otis also the dog from Garfield? I don't know. Anyways, so the Stamp Act Congress, we have the Stamp Act. This also leads to this idea that they want to be able to spread word of what's happening around the colonies. They want to be sure that word spreads to everywhere. As we move forward, tensions are high. We have, not only do we have the Stamp Act Congress, what's it called? We have the Sugar Act, the Stamp Act, the Stamp Act Congress. Tensions are high. We're going to also pass the Townshend Act. Another thing that is passed is something called the Writs of Assistance. Guys, this is a hard thing to remember. What were the writs of assistance? The writs of assistance actually led to one of the amendments in the Bill of Rights. Strictly because of the writs of assistance, we now have this in the Bill of Rights. Would you guys like a hint? Ooh, it had to do with smuggling of goods. It wasn't smuggled goods itself. Camilla, you are killing this. It leads to the Fourth Amendment. Very good. Camilla, that's awesome. Writs of assistance were documents which served as a general search warrant, allowing customs officials to enter any ship or building that they suspected for any reason might hold smuggled goods. Guys, basically, this was written permission to search for smuggled goods. And they could like say they had cause, but they didn't really have to have cause. They didn't have to have a warrant. Now, that said, this kind of reminds me of like when you go to the movies and you sneak food in. Think of it as like sneaking food into the movie theater and someone were to just come up and like demand that because they like vaguely suspected you had something, that they're going to demand that you. Oh my gosh. All right, so we have the writs of assistance, and then we move forward to kind of, I say kind of a big deal. It is a big deal. The next big event that we're going to talk about is the Okay, before we actually move on to this one. Okay. One thing I want to, we were going to do the Boston Massacre, but I forgot one thing, and it's a big deal, and I can't believe I forgot it. Does anyone know which cause of the American Revolution that I've forgotten so far? It has to do with not the Townshend Act. Hey, Kat, good to see you. Quartering Act. Which meant you were allowed to quarter soldiers. That was like a thing. The Quartering Act was basically you had to house soldiers because there weren't enough barracks. So that was one I forgot. So that was one of the very first ones. In fact, it happens after the proclamation of 1763 because the king sends soldiers down to be sure that they are. He sends soldiers down to do the thing to be sure the colonists are doing what's needed to be done. Okay, so Yes, Camilla, you're right. All right, so the next thing, we're going to go back to what I had, is the Boston Massacre. Now, was the Boston Massacre actually a massacre? How many people died? Don't worry about the order of the taxes, Cat. That's not as important as everything else we're doing here. There's people that died. How many people died? And guys, we say just 5 people, and not to discount a single human life, but like the massacre at Goliad had over 100. It's used as propaganda. In fact, it was said to have been provoked. What group provoked it? Dylan, stop. Possibly provoked by the blank of blank. The Sons of Liberty. And I say possibly like it was provoked by the Sons of Liberty. Hey Liam, good to see you. Hey Finn, good to see you. Glad to see you guys are here for the coins. We're actually gonna be on for a little bit longer than usual just because we've only gotten to Boston Massacre. So Liam, Finn, I look forward to you guys joining in the conversation. Okay, very good. I like what Kat just said here. I like what Kat just said here. Crispus Attucks is the first to die. And actually, if you go to Boston, they do have his grave that you can go visit is the first to die. And he is considered a martyr. What is a martyr? What is a martyr? What is a martyr, guys? To die for a cause. Thank you. So again, we're checking things off of the old list from the state of Texas. Crispus Attucks dies for a cause, and they're going to say, "Oh, this is great. Oh, he did all these things." In fact, they're going to draw. Who is the guy who draws the engraving of the bloody massacre, which is actually used as propaganda? This guy was a blacksmith. It's called a bloody massacre. Oh, unhappy Boston, see thy sons deplore. Thy hallowed hands bespeared with guiltless gore. While faithless Preston and his savage bands with murderous rancor stretch their bloody hands. Okay. Now, okay. The engraving is done by Paul Revere. Now, when this whole case goes to court, because they do go to court, they put the the redcoats on trial. They put the redcoats on trial, and when the redcoats go to trial, when the British soldiers go to trial, who defends them? And he actually wins, correct? That answer is correct, Reggie. It was John Adams. John Adams will side with the redcoat, with the British soldiers. He sides with the British soldiers. But the Boston Massacre causes people. No, Hannah, you'll get credit. You've been here like the whole hour. Sam was like, "What the what?" Yeah. So all of this happens. We have the Boston Massacre, and guys, some of the British soldiers were in fact on the colonist side. They didn't believe that all of this kind of like this lockdown that was going on in the colonies was fair, but at the same time, they're following orders. Moving on with causes. All right. Okay, causes continued. We're going to have... You get coins for being here, Kat. All right, causes continued. Now, all the things are happening. Yes, Raylan, you have points. We're going to start with the Tea Act. The Tea Act is passed, and the colonies are not very pleased because the Tea Act, basically, it forces colonists to buy tea that the British want them to buy. Tea from the East India Tea or trade. It's either tea company or trading company, one of the two. East India Tea Company. They don't want that because, and it gives right, Reggie. It gives them a monopoly, and so the colonists, in their anger, dump the tea into Boston Harbor. They dump, and it's the Sons of Liberty. They dump 342 chests of tea. And guys, this was known as a what? An act of blank. It was a nonviolent act of protest. What do we call a nonviolent act of protest? It is a lot of tea. It's over $1 million worth of tea. They did dress up as Native Americans. This is an act of civil disobedience. Now, this act of civil disobedience is going to lead England to be very upset. Because the thing is, up until this point, things had been kind of simmering. Like, things were bad, but, like, they escalate very quickly. And this is going to lead the king to pass something called the Coercive Acts. Now, when I say Coercive Acts, I am referring to what the colonists refer to as the Intolerable Acts, because the colonists think these rules are so unfair. It's going to increase tension. Very good, Camilla. It's going to increase tension. It's going to increase tensions, and the colonists are going to get mad. Now, coercive, that word, basically means that, we want to coerce the colonists to behave. But what's going to happen is the colonists are going to feel like this is wildly unfair. And specifically because the city of Boston is put under such rigorous demands. Go ahead and start listing some of the things they did. Reggie's already got it started. They shut down the harbor. So now the colonists have no way of making money, and they say that they won't open the harbor again until the colonists, they won't open them up for the colonists again until they pay them back for all the tea. But, like, how can they pay them back for the tea if the border's closed? They shut down town meetings. No town meetings. They're also, just kind of as a reminder, they're going to put Boston under military rule. There's a 4-to-1 ratio of soldier to colonist in Boston. It was really rough. They did have to quarter Cat, yes, because there's all these new soldiers, so they also have to house soldiers. Okay, so those are kind of the big deal in the Intolerable Acts. And just as a reminder, the king that does this, what's the name of the king who does all this? It's all passed by the king. This is all passed by King. What's his name? What's his name? It is Reggie. Who's the king? Who's the king? Who's the king? King George the Third. He's mad at the colonists. He's very frustrated. So here's what happens next. The colonists feel that they are Stalin, stay on task and stay on content. The colonists feel that they are being attacked, or they feel like they are being invaded. So they prepare for war. Colonists feel invaded, so they prepare for war. Oh my gosh, Stalin, I just told you we're not talking about things. Thank you, Jimena, for letting him know he's talking about unnecessary topics. All right. Colonists feel invaded, so they prepare for war. They prepare for war specifically by hosting the first Continental Congress. They established the first Reggie killing it again. The colonists feel invaded, so they prepare for war. They established the first Continental Congress. They established the first Continental Congress, and the idea here is that they're going to set up militias. If they set up militias, they set up militias throughout the colonies, preparing for this idea that there could be a war coming. Now, the king hears, the British kind of intelligence hears that the colonists are preparing for war, that they're that they have weapons that they're storing. Specifically, they hear that there's some weapons in Concord, which leads us to, Hannah's going to love this one, the shot heard round the world. I say she's going to love this one because it is, how long is this going to be going to? Raylan, not much longer because I just have a few things left to do. Probably about another 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, the shot heard around the world is at Lexington and Concord. We have two midnight riders. We have Paul Revere and Wentworth. I say we have two. We have several midnight riders. There's a few that you need to know. Paul Revere and Wentworth Cheswell. Oh, poor Hannah had to go. Okay. Lexington and Concord. Paul Revere and Wentworth Cheswell are going to ride at night. This was the one if by land, two if by sea. They do this midnight ride through the colonies. They go to Lexington. They go to Concord. They go to Lexington. When they arrive in Lexington, they're met with colonists, and the colonists, a battle takes place. There's not enough colonists there. They haven't been wakened enough. There weren't enough colonists that were awake at the time. So at Lexington, the colonists lose. However, by the time they reach Concord, because of the battle that takes place at Lexington, there's enough people to come in from the north, actually kind of from the north over here, and from all around, that Concord, the colonists, win the Battle of Concord. It is the shot heard round the world. Was the start of the revolution. Many men were ready on the move. Take your money, take your gun, report to General Washington. Oh, look at that. One of them did get caught. Several of them get caught. In order for Paul Revere to continue, Paul Revere's ride was the most successful, which leads to our victory at Concord. There's many men that ride, though. Many men are going out to tell everybody, the British are coming, the British are coming, the British are coming. That's where this comes from. All right. Okay. Now, this is all we got left, guys, and it's going to be quick because I want to go. Saratoga, Valley Forge, and Yorktown. Yes, it still counts. The Battle of Saratoga, just as a reminder, is a turning point. Why is it a turning point? Who joins the war? Everyone has to go. Okay, I'm going to finish this, and then I'm going to be finished. Saratoga is a turning point because the French join the war. It's a turning point, and then Ben Franklin helps us get there. Then we go to Valley Forge. Valley Forge is a time of great suffering for the colonists. It's a winter of terrible suffering. As it is a winter of suffering, Thomas Paine writes The American Crisis. These are times that try men's souls. He also wrote Common Sense, makes common sense the common man to break away from Britain. He was a famous writer of the time. Valley Forge was awful. They do become a fighting force. Colonists become a fighting force. The colonists become a winter is coming. That's fine. The colonists become a fighting force thanks to Baron von Steuben. The Baron von Steuben. The Baron von Steuben turns them into a fighting force. We're able to kind of like rise up out of our circumstance a little bit because of a few people. Washington's leadership gets us through this time. And also the help of his one of his benefactors, the Marquis de Lafayette. The Marquis de Lafayette, he's going to be one of Washington's trusted aides here. Haim Solomon's money. Is also going to help us with that. Sorry, guys. I know I'm kind of flying through this. I know I have to go. I know you guys have to go. So I'm trying to get us through all of our things. What about this? And we're going to sign. We signed the Treaty of Paris, 17. After this, we have Valley Forge. Then we go to Yorktown. The Battle of Yorktown, 1781. Monsieur Hamilton, Monsieur Lafayette in command where you belong. Okay, Yorktown is the last battle of the American Revolution. It's the last battle of the American Revolution. It ends the war officially. Good job. Oh, him and I'm proud of you. Solomon. Haim Solomon. Yorktown is the last battle of the American Revolution. We get it there with the help of the French Navy. It's because of the French that we're able to secure our victory. And then the Treaty of Paris. That's when we start negotiating. The General Cornwallis surrenders, and that's when we start negotiating terms for the Treaty of Paris in 1783. Now, fighting on the field, we've had quite the run. Immigrants, we get the job done. Okay, so all the things that are happening. We signed the Treaty of Paris. We know Lexington and Concord. Fun fact, something I totally forgot in kind of our rush and my desire to finish. We did not talk about declaring independence or the writing of the Articles of Confederation. Ayo. Now, that said, of course we forgot that. Of course. That's gonna come, technically, that comes after the shot heard around the world. We haven't declared independence yet. We haven't declared independence yet, so that's a problem. We declare independence in 1776. That you really can't talk about a review without doing songs from Hamilton. Look at the people here. Okay. The shot heard around the world happens. This ends the war. Now we're going to be our own country. And England finally recognizes us as our own country. So, I forgot to do Declaration of Independence. I will do that in my next one about the Constitutional Convention and all of that. I'll start with the Second Continental Congress, where we established the Articles of Confederation, etc. Tune in next time. Next time we'll be doing this is Tuesday at 7. Thank you guys so much. Sorry we went about 10 minutes over tonight. But have a wonderful evening. Get a lot of sleep. See you later. Any other questions I got before I leave? When's the next live stream? Next live stream is Tuesday, 7 p.m. It'll be over government, the Constitution, and because I kind of skipped it here, the Second Continental Congress, etc. things. Tuesday at 7 p.m. All right, I will see you later.